reflect, I guess, the communication first. Since this is the main. Jim, you're doing that, and I'm doing the pledge. Anyone who wants to join?
Yes, sir. Let's pray. Almighty God, you are our creator and our sustainer. You are our light and our fortress. You are our wisdom and our strength. We ask for your guiding hand to lead us through this meeting. May we approach our tasks with wisdom, and may we approach our members with respect. May our conduct create an environment of cooperation and kindness. Thank you for helping us to accomplish our work this day. We ask these things in your powerful name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen.
There is no amen. It's just, that's it.
Wow.
No amen.
Bell.
Here.
Kern.
Here.
Freeling.
Here.
Harrison.
Here.
Hinkleman.
Here.
Majeri.
Here.
Meeks. Scott. Bullrat.
Here.
Werfel.
Here.
Yarborough. Elliott.
here. Full house. Minutes from last week. Hadn't heard of any changes. Is there a motion to approve those? Moved by Volrath,
Support.
supported by Freeling. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. We had a closed session a couple weeks ago on the 18th. Attorney-client privilege stuff. We need to approve those minutes that we just initialed a short while ago. Is there a motion to approve the November 18 closed session minutes? Moved by Curran. Support. Supported by Bell. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved from the closed session. Madam Clerk, any communications?
There was one communication, Ogama County Board of Commissioners resolution opposing Senate Bill 597 and Senate Bill 598 received on December 1st. And that's it.
Very good, thank you. Public comments concerning resolutions that are on the agenda, and that includes the two added resolutions ending in 376 and 377. Any public comments about agenda resolutions? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the consent calendar as submitted, including 376 and 377? Moved by Volrath, supported by Freeling. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair, I do, with regards to resolution B 2112104, which is our requisitions, wish to abstain from requisition 53711, which is for Rev excavation in the amount of $17,520 out of abundance of caution. Thank you.
Very good. Madam Clerk, will you note that, please? All right, with that, and Terry, just confirm if you would with the clerk to make sure that the rec is as specified. With that, is there any other discussion, comment? Hearing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Bell.
Yes.
Curran.
Yes.
Freeling.
Yes.
Harrison.
Yes.
Hinkleman.
Yes.
Majeri.
Yes.
Bullrat.
Yes.
Werfel.
Yes.
Yarborough. Elliott.
Yes. Okay, now public comments on anything under the sun in 2 minutes or less. Anyone wish to be heard?
11, you said?
Pardon me?
There's a public comment at 11?
No,
That's what you said. We told our guy not to come until 11.
I'm sorry if I misunderstood you. I thought you, okay. I thought you were asking about the next meeting. And this is the next meeting. We moved the meeting up because we have corporate counsel interviews to do today, and we have 2 interviews scheduled.
Well, it would have been good to hear what he had to say, because I think he's investigated the law maybe more than a lot of you have, because he wants to look at what's in the toolbox. My name's Amy Foster from Lincoln Township. He's actually like an amazing person, and I hope when he comes, you will listen to him. Because like I said, he is looking through statutes, trying to figure out in these times when it's difficult and our rights are being infringed on, this is where we need you guys to think out of the box and look at the tools that you don't normally have to use. So that's what he was gonna talk about. I actually wanted to say, I still have not heard from Guy Miller about confirming to the superintendents that there is no public health order regarding quarantines. That is what people are hiding behind, and so that is what we need to remove. When the rats are hiding behind something, you take it away, because that's what they're doing. They're hiding behind a non-legal binding quarantine from the health department, so that needs to change. Right now, all good people need to do what they can to end the masking and excessive quarantining in the schools. I actually got this book. I recommend it. It's called The Real Anthony Fauci by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He is a Democrat, but a courageous man in times like these, where he is looking outside the box. He's willing to call people out. I'm sure in his social circles, it's not popular, but I immensely respect him for talking about what's going on with Dr. Fauci. Some of the things I'm very early in the book, he talks about Fauci suppressing hydroxychloroquine by using lethal, actually it was Gates and Fauci and other people. There was studies done in England where they purposely used lethal doses. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. They purposely used high doses that they knew were not effective, and they used it late in the game when people had COVID, when they knew that early on is when you're supposed to treat it. And normally you would give people the dose that they would take for malaria, which is 400 milligrams. Instead, they were giving old people with comorbidities 1,200 milligrams. Very disturbing. This is the man that we're taking our instructions from. This is the man that the CDC is listening to. This is the man that's trickling down to the state. This is the man that is trickling down to the local level. When you've got a terrible man at the top, there's a problem. We need to stop that. There's also examples of profiteering by health officials in the federal government. They're making royalties and investments off of
2
pharma.
minutes, ma'am.
So I just want to let you know, there's a lot of bad stuff going on. That's why we locally have to act. Thank you very much.
I'd just like to say, I don't appreciate people coming to the microphone in this forum and calling people names.
I said rats.
Whether it was a direct name calling to someone in our organization or somebody else, I don't appreciate that, and it shouldn't be done here.
I just call people rats that are hiding behind things. I stand by it. I stand by it.
Excuse me, I'm talking to a chair.
And I didn't think that it's specific to
Yeah.
anyone.
I didn't either.
I still don't appreciate it.
Okay, sir.
My name is Sean Hill. I was here last meeting. I've been here at a lot of meetings. I'm gonna still keep showing up, okay?
Sean, where are you? Which political unit, township, city, village?
I live in the city of St. Joe, right next door here, so. But, yeah. So I don't know. I hope my 2 minutes, that didn't include 30 seconds of my 2 minutes. Anyhow. So I talked last time about the quarantines like Amy talked about. And that is true. I got a very reliable source from the schools of St. Joe saying that they're hiding behind the quarantines. This is what they're doing. And they said it's because of the county's quarantines that they're keeping the masks on the kids. And that's why I said, so I asked the person that told me this, and I said, if I help get the quarantines taken care of, not that I can do it personally, but if we can still keep fighting, would you guys promise me to take the masks off the kids? Well, they came back and they were like, well, I don't know if I can, it's not as black and white as that, but I think it'd help our case if we can get rid of these quarantines. Shoot, it was just reported on the news the other day. We're about the only Western country, one of the only Western countries that still have masks on our kids. This is ridiculous. It's impeding their education. They're not learning like there should be. I just heard one lady talk about that her son was a mathematician. He loves math. They just found out he's 2 grades behind of where he should be right now because of the whole shutdown last year, but then also leading into the quarantines of this year. We got to stop these quarantines. Like I said last meeting, 99.9% recovery. If these kids get COVID, they're going to recover. Plain and simple. Even the older generation. What is that? 94.9% that they'll survive too. I mean, I know a guy that's 76 years old. He just recovered for it. He had COVID. But it's all a matter of taking care of yourself, getting the antibiotics like right away, like what we need, and then just dealing with it. People who have comorbidities or overweight, like I am a little bit, I guess we just got to be extra careful. Wash your hands, hand sanitizer, and everything like that. Main reason why I'm here is I also found out some information. One of our friends
2 minutes, sir.
who was their child was quarantined at the St. Joe schools, this is how the quarantines are working. She was obviously had to stay home, and she was told to get online. 2 of the teachers out of all our teachers did the virtual learning with her. The rest posted the homework, and she was on her own. She had to figure it out on her own with her assignments and everything. So
Thank you.
thank you for your time. This is happening, folks.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, everyone. I'm Victory Woodall. I live in Covert Township in Van Buren County. I'm here, as the others are here, to ask you to do something about the masks on our kids. Look at all of us in this room. Most of us are free to breathe fresh air, and our kids are not. Every single day for 7 hours, they're stuck in a mask because these schools are taking matters into their own hands after pressure from the county and changing the quarantine policies. We did have some good dialogue, some people from our group with Guy Miller at the last Board of Health meeting. I feel like that was nice of him to listen to us, but nothing has changed as far as we're aware. So we would really like, I think something Richard McCoy was going to say if he was able to speak today, which he wasn't due to that misunderstanding with the time. He was going to bring out the fact that something you guys can do is call in Guy Miller for some open questioning. During one of your commissioner meetings, maybe call him in so that the public can ask him questions, that you guys can ask him questions, just for more transparency. We just want to be able to address him in an open public forum where it's on YouTube, where the people can see and hear his answers. I just feel like we have to do something. I mean, it's been months and months of our kids being masked. 2 years of schooling, they've been masked. And it's just unacceptable, and I'm really sick of it. So please do something. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Michael Hoy, I was able to, Benton Harbor, I was able to go down to the Berrien County Historical Association's ribbon cutting and for their new exhibits, and not only that, but for their new bookshop area and all their ornaments and things. There's going to be hot chocolate there tonight. Come down and see what's going on down at the Historical Museum. They're doing incredible stuff. The ribbon cutting, like I said, was just this past week. Fred Upton's office was down there, Kim Lasada's, but they're really moving things along down there. It's good to get behind this because they're doing incredible stuff. And I know for a while there, it kind of was like the sleepy little museum that didn't exist. But what Berrien County is putting their efforts into and what this board is doing and watching, it's incredible to bring that history alive and just go down there and see them all week long. They're doing hot chocolate and caroling, all kinds of stuff. Just go buy an ornament and all kinds of stuff like that. It's really great.
What time does that start?
6 o'clock tonight, 6 o'clock till 9, and it's also out on Facebook, okay? Yeah.
All right, thank you. Tony, we haven't heard from you. Do you have anything to share? We have some time. We're moving faster than we expected, so.
2 things.
And it's Tony Benhart, Soda Township, right?
Sorry about that. We sit here week after week after week and hear nothing about, I mean, mask. This board has got nothing to do with the health department, period. End of story. There's not a commissioner here. Mac, you can't do it. Brian, you can't do it. You cannot tell the director of the health department what to do and how to act. That comes from Lansing, if I'm not mistaken. The other funny thing is, Lakeshore has got basically not masked, it's voluntarily, but yet now a couple of weeks ago, Bridgman made it mandatory, if I'm not mistaken. We're not hearing anything about Bridgman being mandated, so. And the other thing is, I just hope, I really hope that you make the right temporary choice for the road department, because if you don't, I think there's going to be problems.
Right, thank you.
Lakeshore requires masks, just so you, Lakeshore requires masks.
They didn't want that.
Well, they do that. Okay, that's the problem.
It's all in the touch.
This is the way to get it to come on, I think. The gentleman you mentioned, Mr. McCoy,
Yes, he's on his way.
okay, will be here. We're scheduled to be here for a couple of more hours. And we've posted our next meeting, I believe, at 10:30, the first interview. If he arrives before then, be happy to go back into public comments and receive his comments, whatever they may be. If he has some written submission, that will go to Commissioner Curran.
Hopefully you got it. Did everyone receive his email?
Richard McCoy, no.
I did not.
Unless it came this morning.
Well, it went to the board, the general email that's supposed to just disseminate it to all of you, it looked like.
Okay. Not as of this moment.
I think it's Richard McCoy at Comcast.net.
So with that, we'll go to other business and we can go back to public comment. If he wishes to be heard, if someone was planning to speak, I'd hate for them to lose their opportunity because of a misunderstanding on timing. We normally meet at 10:30, but today we're doing 10:30 to start the interviews with the two finalists for the county attorney job. So it's understandable how that could have created some confusion. And whenever we can accommodate it, we wish for people to be heard. So other business, does anyone have any other business that they'd like to go over? Yes, ma'am.
Over for that email message regarding for Guy to respond, who's gonna respond by last Friday?
Yeah.
When is that?
So as we sat here, I just texted Guy and just said, hey, this is a reminder, you need to get the response issued. He responded back, understood. I can tell you that in talking with Guy, he was waiting on the issuance of the response because it was very clear from the state level that modifications to the quarantine recommendations were coming from MDHHS. He was trying to hold off on that response until he had further direction from MDHHS on how those quarantine recommendations are to be interpreted. Put simply, they're relaxing some of the quarantine recommendations. So I followed up with Guy. I will make sure that we don't go another week without a response.
Anyone have anything else? Sir.
Just real quick, how is Van Buren and Cass County not, you know what I'm saying? How are they able to do this and we can't?
Right.
I'm just asking. I mean, there are our neighboring counties. I mean, and like, I know Niles, they've had an optional, I don't know if you know this or not, but they have an optional mask because my daughter dates one of the kids from there. And they still haven't had, they hardly have any quarantines. I mean, I don't know how one school district can do it, not the rest. I just think if we can get the county off the table on the quarantine stuff, then maybe we got more to go back at the school board with, like, all right, quarantines are off, now take the mask off, you know what I'm saying? I'm not blaming you, we need help from you guys, that's all we're asking.
Sure.
Okay. We've got a few minutes here, so I'll just speak off the cuff. So you brought up Van Buren Cass. Van Buren Cass is a unique animal in that it's a district health department. They do not serve directly to the Board of Commissioners. It's a separate unit of government that operates as a joint health district. So Van Buren Cass, however they're handling their schools, I don't have a real good handle on what they're doing because they're their own unique entity. As it relates to the local schools, the local school boards making their decisions on whether or not to require masking, that is truly a local choice issue. But the thing that I just stated, and I will just keep repeating to you, is at the state level, MDHHS has made clear that a modified approach to quarantine recommendations is being released. And what I would encourage you all is just give Guy some time here to get his arms around those changes, give him an opportunity to communicate that out to the individual school districts so that they have an opportunity to understand that if at the local level they wish to modify their approach and have their approach align with the state of Michigan, that appears to be something that could be happening in the coming weeks. So with that said, my number one recommendation is do what Amy's done, communicate directly to Guy And I will make sure that Guy is communicating directly back to you all, addressing any of your questions. Asking those questions here, while completely appropriate, the quickest way to ensure that you're not getting the most accurate information is to do the telephone game. And what I've tried to encourage Guy to do is communicate directly with you. And Ms. Foster, I'll make sure that you have a response ASAP. But in Guy's defense, major changes are occurring with MDHHS's recommendations on quarantine rules. And in speaking with our staff, they're making sure that they understand those backwards and forwards before communicating with the public, before communicating with the schools. Did that address your question, sir?
Well, I met with Guy.
Yep.
I've been in the health department meetings. Commissioner Harrison knows that.
Yep.
And my thing is, though, is the key word here is recommendations.
Right.
That doesn't mean we have to do that. So he can make a choice on his own. It's recommendations. That's all it is.
Understood.
We have questions with the MDHHS, like we have problems with the bureaucracies in our state. So it doesn't give us a lot of comfort to hear we're reading on the MDHHS.
Yeah.
Everybody's answering.
It's
indirectly.
passing the buck. We keep getting, everybody's passing the buck to the next person. And the thing of it is that these are kids that are surviving this thing. It's ridiculous.
We should be protecting our young.
Yeah.
Instead of
It's,
throwing
and,
them.
and I don't know what Sheriff Bailey thinks, but this is criminal. What we're doing to our kids is criminal. Absolutely. They have a right to an education free of these masks.
That's what the school boards are there for.
I know,
I was on
but-
the school board for almost 20 years. We didn't like people coming in and telling us what to do. If they're hiding behind that, they shouldn't be. They should be making their, whatever they feel, they should be making that clear to the public. And I think there's a lot of misinformation coming from them, but I think they have to do their job. And if they're not doing their job, then they have, you do what you gotta do.
I
at
totally
election
agree.
time, but
That's what I was.
I totally
you just
agree,
can't
but,
step out
but
there
they're
and
saying,
over their head.
but they're saying the problem is the quarantines. And I mean, I heard it straight from St. Joe schools. The quarantines is the reason why they're keeping the kids masked. That's what I heard directly from
And I
somebody.
have talked to superintendents and they're doing it because of the quarantines, but to keep them in school is the only way they can do that.
Because of quarantines, but if you get rid of quarantines, you don't have to.
That's,
Okay,
it's up to the superintendent and the
Um,
school board.
Sorry.
yeah,
I
no,
appreciate you letting us talk.
sure.
One question.
Ma'am.
I heard that, Mr. Doucette, you and Guy Miller spoke with Edwardsburg Superintendent about their policies. What were your findings there?
Why do we have to keep doing that?
We don't, but,
We have time, and they're giving us grace, so we appreciate it.
Yes, we do.
I don't know if you want to go into any of that.
So my recommendation again is to have the conversation with staff. To do this in this type of environment just doesn't seem appropriate. If you have questions about Guy's findings on Edwardsburg, start with Guy. And I'm happy to connect you to Guy. Yes, we did speak with the superintendent from Edwardsburg. Yes, Guy put out a memo just comparing their approach to approaches locally. But what I don't feel comfortable doing as someone who is not trained in medical issues, for me to sit here and summarize something that I don't have formal training in. We've got an individual who has a master's degree in public health in a decade working in public health. That's the guy who should be responding. And if you have that question, send me an email and I'll make sure that we connect you to
I
him.
just thought you were on the call, that's why I asked you.
I was.
Okay.
And what I'm saying is, I am not even close to being an expert in public health issues, and I would refer to the staff member who is.
Okay. Sure will, thank you.
Yep.
Richard's here, by the way.
Okay.
One more, just real quick. Have you guys taken the time, has Guy had a presentation to you guys?
We've
The
been sitting
ladies?
down with him for.
Every,
About this issue?
it's been included in the discussion. Everyone has been involved.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm not speaking for the board. I'm mindful of it. I'm mindful of when Christmas break is coming and when they go back in January. And I'm hopeful that there will be a new protocol when the winter semester comes, but we aren't in a position where we can direct the public health officer. But that being said, we'll hear from Mr. McCoy, who will, sure enough, we're going to go back to general public comments just for a moment, because we understand you had something you wish to share with the board. So if you'll go up there where your voice will be amplified and tell us your name and which political subdivision you live in, city, village, township.
My name is Richard McCoy. I live in Stevensville, which is Lincoln Township.
Okay, we're generally 2 minutes, so gather your thoughts.
Okay, well, I have much better things to do than be here for 2 minutes, but I'm here because I don't want to stand around while the rule of law is made into a joke. I want to share with you what has been discovered through a recent FOIA. I emailed a bigger summary of this to all of you on December 7th. And I'm available to follow up with any of you on what we found, because the FOIA is much bigger than what I sent to you. On September 29th, the Berrien County Health Department rescinded their public health order for the mask mandate in schools. 2 days later, on October 2nd, emails were exchanged between Courtney Davis and Superintendent Greg Edding, Lakeshore Superintendent, to discuss a meeting that would be held on October 4th at Greg Edding's house. This meeting, we don't know a lot about what was agreed to, except for the fact that the point of the meeting was to discuss how that the schools could implement the health department mask guidance and quarantine guidance without the health department actually having to have this order in place. And, you know, the state money was involved. That was one of the drivers for the rescission of the mask mandate. And that's in the FOIA request. That's admitted in the FOIA request. So what these guys did is they got together to basically decide how to circumvent the will of the people as expressed through the Michigan legislature. It makes a mockery of the rule of law. And to make it worse, as parents have emailed Greg Edding to find out what his legal basis is, he lies to the parents.
2 minutes, sir.
I thought you wanted to hear what I have to say.
Generally,
Go
a limit, if you can summarize that.
He lies to the parents and claims that he is obligated, in quotes, obligated to follow Berrien County Health Department policy and Michigan Public Health Code. Well, this is nothing but a shell game, because he cannot follow a policy that is not in place, and a policy cannot be in place without an order, and that's the state law. Now, the last point I want to make is that this body has the power to do something about it. You can call Guy Miller in under oath, that's in MCL 46-11, and you can find out what happened at the October 4th meeting. We should not have to go chasing around all these public officials to get their half answers, because we are not getting answers. But you can bring him in under oath and get answers to what happened, and either expose the corruption or put this thing to rest. And the fact that you guys have told people that you can't fire people, that's wrong. It's right here in MCL 46-11. If you can't get the truth, if they're not doing their job, if they're participating in this corruption, you certainly can fire them. It's in the law. If you can't read and understand the law, you shouldn't be a lawmaker.
Thank you, sir. Hopefully the Lakeshore School Board will want to know about this as well. Sir, did you have something you wish to share with us?
Yeah, I was wondering if I could do it as well. Yeah. I just wanted to share
Before you do,
I'm sorry.
Your name and where you're from.
Okay. Christopher Failer, St. Joseph, Michigan.
Okay.
I recently came across a peer-reviewed document. It's written by industrial hygienist as well as OSHA environmental health and safety professional. They, in this, they describe the legality, or I would say actually the lack thereof with regard to continued enforcement of the COVID mandates. I want to provide this to you guys as I think it'd be important for you guys to look over. Yeah, that was primarily what I wanted to share with you guys. There's detailed information in here. It's a legally defensible document. Has been highly peer reviewed, credible. I think it would be good to be informed upon and take appropriate action with. So I'll leave this right here. Is that okay? And yeah, it should be that we spoke out. So.
Could you, the clerk, and I couldn't quite make out your last name either. She needs your
Yeah.
last name for the minutes.
Okay, yeah, I'll spell it out because it's a
Great.
it's a weird one. So PFAHLER.
Just what I thought.
Okay. All right. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you. There's a gentleman all the way in the back. Did you have anything you wish to share during public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, I think that's it for public comments. Was there any other business that has come up? All right, if not, we'll adjourn and then we'll reconvene in 27 minutes.
To the board, your first candidate has arrived. If you would like to start earlier than 10:30,